Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is actually the next day. This is day 2 of me doing this, but my intro has no audio, so I'm having to do my intro again. This has happened to me before. I don't know what's up with my GoPro when it does this. It just does this sometimes. So what happened last night, I didn't really work for long. I worked for like 10-15 minutes. And as I was getting out from under the car, we had some storms in the front coming through, and the power went out, and it was like a little after midnight. And I was standing right over there where that creeper's sitting on the floor, and it went completely pitch dark in here, and I couldn't see a thing. Luckily, none of this stuff was in the way. So I was able to just shuffle my feet with my arms out, walk over to the stairs, go inside, find my cell phone, because I knew exactly where it was at, and get some light going. And then I had to stop. But I'm working on it now. You're gonna see what I've gotten done so far here coming up. It was interesting when that power went out. I was standing there and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I could not see a thing. It was so dark in here. But anyways, let me get you set up. Alright everyone, it's the next day. As you saw, the power went out last night. It didn't come back on until about 4 in the morning, so I wasn't going to come back out here and start working on it then. Got my rest, got up a few hours ago. Feel nice and fresh now. I'm going to get back under here. I'm gonna pull the drain plug one more time because I guarantee you there's probably a couple more quarts that have drained out of the transmission, and I want to take care of that. So let's do that, and then we'll get underneath there, and we're going to start taking everything apart and get the transmission jack underneath the transmission and drop this thing. So let's get started. All right, let that sit a little bit. I should have sprayed that last night. I don't know why I didn't. Well, I know why I didn't, because we lost power and I couldn't see. This drive shaft, you just unbolt it here. There's 4 of these nut and bolt combos. And then once you unbolt it here, it'll just slide out of the yoke over here into this other drive shaft. It slides right out. And then while I have it out, I'll replace this bushing here and the bearing. So I gotta take these lines off. One's the return and one's they're for the transmission cooler. These cars, the turbo cars come with a transmission cooler built in. It's up like between the radiator and stuff. The transmission fluid runs through the radiator transmission cooler as well. But then there's another little auxiliary cooler about that big. Oh, there it went. She broke loose. There it goes. Got it. All right. Lines are off. That's good. Before I take this off, you want to mark your drive shaft, because these are balanced from the factory. I don't know if you guys can see me over there. These drive shafts are balanced. They do have weights on them, so before I take anything off, I'm going to mark this flange up here, so I line it back up, and I'm going to mark it back here as well. You want to make sure you put it back in the same spot. There it is. Oh, it's wanting to drop on my face right now. I'm just getting this last bolt together. Put it to the side. There we go. Now she just slides out. Come on. Oh yeah, I can tell this has been worked on. It's scored up right there. don't want to slide off. It slid off most of the way, but I can't get it the rest of the way. There it goes. Got it. We've been at it for about, what, 40 minutes or so. I got the drive shaft out. It's gonna take a little longer than an hour to get the transmission out. Let me show you the drive shaft over here real quick. Oh man, my back is killing, guys. Get you over here in the light so you can see a little better. All right, so here's the front drive shaft. You can see I marked it. I put 2 marks on the front to line it up, and I put 1 mark to line up with the rear drive shaft here, because this is a 2-piece drive shaft. And just have these marks lined up. When you slide it back together, you'll be good to go. Because if you look at this, see, there's weights on this. If you don't line it up properly, you're gonna get a vibration. Here's the bushing. You can see, doesn't look so great. It's rusty. Bushing's just falling apart, so we're gonna replace that. We're gonna do that right now. Main goal is to get this transmission out. First, I need to go put a new battery in this, but I'm not gonna film everything. Let me get all the bolts out, and then I'll come back and I'll get footage of me dropping this down. So we'll be back here in a little bit. I gotta go rest my back up a little bit too. It's killing me right now, so back in a minute, guys. Okay, everyone, transmission is out. I don't have it on the ground, but I'll get you down here and you'll see. There we go. Transmission's hanging down. Oh, I made a little mess. That should be expected. There you go. Got her out, separated. I'm gonna lower it down now. So let me get you set up right here. We're gonna lower it down. Then I'm gonna take lunch because I am starving. That took me about twice as long as I wanted it to, but a lot of these bolts were super, super tight because I found some evidence that this engine and transmission has been taken apart before. So let me drop this down, then I'm gonna take lunch. There's definitely evidence of this being taken apart. The top bolt was basically like finger tight. I put a wrench on it, it came loose, and I just loosened it out. I mean, all the other ones were like hella tight, except for that one top back bolt. Engine's good where it's at. It's kind of resting back on itself right there against the firewall. If you guys can see this, I don't want to really put you there. It's like tons of transmission fluid. But on these cars, the rear main seal is right there, but you also have, I can hold this and do this at the same time. Kind of limited to what I could do. That's the rear main seal, but there's also this rear main seal cover. So you got to take that off as well. All right. Because there's a gasket there as well, and it's definitely leaking. You can see it. It's been leaking. It was probably leaking long before I got to the car. All right, 10 millimeter. Be right back. I love having to do big jobs just to replace 3 seals. Sorry, 2 seals in a gasket. You have to do all this work to replace 2 seals in a gasket. Got it. All right. That's it right there, guys. That's what holds the rear main seal, is this casing right here. Yeah, this gasket was shot. It's pretty brittle. It's probably the original gasket now that I look at it. The rear main seal, actually the rear main seal is real pliable. It's probably been replaced, but they probably didn't replace this gasket right here, and that's what's leaking. All right, making some progress. I'm about to put the flex plate back in. I got the rear main seal and the rear main seal housing and gasket back in. I'm gonna show you guys what I got going on here. I had to use a little RTV. I didn't go too crazy, just to kind of seal stuff up because this oil pan gasket had to be reused, so I wasn't gonna put a new one on. But as you can see, I got everything cleaned up. I mean, all the bolts look nice and clean bolts. All the dirty bolts over here. But We got the new seal in there. I recessed it back a little bit, so it's I took the old seal and used it as a kind of a press to tap it in, because I didn't want it riding in the same spot. It did have a little groove, but it wasn't too bad. New rear main seals in, and the rear main seal and housing gaskets in. I just use a thin amount of RTV. That's what you see oozing out. I put it in the corners here just to make sure I don't have any leaks, and I put some underneath the oil pan gasket here because I lifted it up and did that, put it back down, and just to make sure everything seals really well. I didn't use a lot, just a thin layer, guys. That's all you need to use. All right, everyone, I think it's gonna do it for tonight. I don't have the transmission up and bolted up yet, but we're gonna do that tomorrow. I gotta get up tomorrow. I need to go renew my tags on my wagon, and then I need to get this car registered because I plan on having this car done very soon. So this car's gonna be getting registered. I need to throw it on my insurance tomorrow when I get up, actually. So we'll be doing that. And then when I get home, I'm gonna finish putting the transmission and button everything up and do the drive shaft bearing and bushing, and then once I get all that done, I'm gonna start working on the turbo and rebuild the turbo. So tomorrow's gonna be busy. I'm pretty tired, so we'll continue with that tomorrow. Okay, we are back. It's the next day. Had to get some things done today. It's probably about, I don't know, 8 o'clock at night, finally getting to work on this. My goal tonight is get the transmission up and in there, get that bearing replaced on the front drive shaft, and just get everything buttoned up so I can get this thing back on the ground, or not back on the ground, but back to where I can start getting the engine and everything back together, turbo, manifold, all that fun stuff. So let's get this transmission back up in there. I was just doing a little work over here before I went to put the transmission up. I replaced some bushings. There's 2 bushings up there. I'm sure you guys can see that. There's a bushing here and a bushing here. And then I put some sheathing around the wire and wrapped it in electrical tape. And I fixed the butt end connector of this. I got a little trick for that. I'll make a video on that later on how to fix these. There's a lot of connectors in these cars that go bad, and there's a way to fix pretty much every single one that's kind of has the same setup. It's actually really easy to do. And then there's a bushing over here that I had to replace right here. Replace that bushing. There is one more bushing that I need. Right here, guys. You can see this is loose. I'm gonna have to order that. I'll be able to access it once I get it up in the car anyway, so I'm not worried about that. I know it looks like it's gonna be, you know, transmission mount and everything in the way. It's not. It's really easy to take out. There's a little C-clip here. You pop that out, you push the pin up, and I'm pretty sure there's a bushing that goes in there because that is really loose, but this one over here is nice and tight now. These will be nice and tight. These will be nice and tight up here once I get these shafts in here with their C-clips. So let me get you back on the other side, and we're gonna I'm gonna jack this transmission up right here at this point. You just stick this right in there and ratchet on it, and she goes up. So let me get this up in the air and get it installed. So let me get you set up on the other side so you can watch me do this. One more thing, I also did the wire here. It was just one wire exposed, all the sheathing was gone. I put new sheathing around it and wrapped it in electrical tape as well, and then I zip tied it secure up here. And I zip tied this one secure as well, so they're not just flailing around unsecure. One more trick, when you're putting those bushings in on the other side, a good trick is to get them in, to go in a little easier, is get some hot water. I took a coffee mug and I put a little bit of water in it, and I nuked the water in the microwave for 2 minutes. It got really hot, and you stick the bushings in the water, and it softens the bushings up, makes them more pliable so they can pop in place much easier, because if you don't, you're gonna have a hell of a time trying to get them in their spots. All right, let's get this in.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
All right, let's see where we're at. How close are we? We're even close? Probably not even close. No, we're not even remotely close. I gotta go up further. You guys saw that, right? She went flush. She's in. Thank God! Oh my God! Oh, what's this side look like? It's gotta be flush. Yeah, she's in, guys. Let's get some bolts in this thing before it comes apart. Yeah, see? You know she's lined up when you can just run the bolt in by hand real easily. That's awesome. Oh, such relief. I'm gonna get this bolt in, the top bolt. I'm not gonna go crazy. I just wanna get this thing in here and bolt, and I'll come back tomorrow and finish her up. Because I need to clean up and just eat and relax and then go to bed. I'm exhausted. Oh, she fought me the whole way, but I won. I always win. All right, everybody. Transmission is in. I can't finish the install because I had a circlip, a little C-clip, go flying on me when I was installing it. But as you can see, the transmission is up in there. Got a few more things to do, but the big part's done. So tomorrow, I gotta take my dog to the vet while I'm out. I'm gonna get some C-clips, circlips, whatever you want to call them. Hopefully I can find some. I'm sure one of the auto parts stores will have them. So let me do that, and we'll finish buttoning this up tomorrow. So yeah, we'll continue with this tomorrow. I'm just gonna make this all one long video, I guess. I mean, it's not gonna be crazy long. I'll edit it up, but yeah, we'll make it one video and be done with it. So, to be continued. All right, everybody. I was out here last night till about 11:30 or so, and then I stopped. I got pretty tired. Plus, my back was really hurting me pretty bad. Feels good today. It was real stiff this morning. I did a few exercises, stretched it out. Got some good pops and took 2 ibuprofen, and I feel pretty good. I'm not having any pain. I got my back brace on. I did put a yoga mat on my. So one thing about this creeper I don't like, it's padded where the head is at, but there's no padding anywhere else. And for a skinny guy like me, that kind of hurts. So yeah, got some padding on. It's a yoga mat. We got everything buttoned up underneath pretty much. I'm actually doing a service on the transmission right now. As you can see, I got the transmission pan off. I'm gonna take that over, clean it up, clean the bolts up. I got the pan off. Everything looks pretty good. I don't see anything too crazy up here. I don't see any sludge, any metal shavings. I haven't looked in the pan yet, but we'll see what that looks like. The magnet actually looks really clean. You can see the magnet right there. There's the magnet. So I get the light over here for you. It really doesn't have much material on it, which is really good. I mean, that's a very positive sign. So that magnet looks pretty clean. There's a little bit of very small just wear material, but that's typical. I mean, the car's got 220,000 miles. It's not going to be perfect, but it looks good. So I'm going to go over to the parts washer, and I'm going to clean this pan up, clean the bolts up, drop off the filter right here, and we're going to put a new filter and gasket and everything on, and button this thing back up. All right, everybody, I got the transmission pan nice and clean. It's nice and clean inside and out. The magnet really wasn't dirty at all. It barely had any metal shavings on it. I mean, it was just normal wear and tear. No heavy particles. Pan's nice and clean on the outside. Everything looks good. For these this is an ASIN transmission. It's an AW71. For the AW70 and the AW71s, they're the same exact transmission, except that 71s are for the turbos. They did make a 72 as well. Yeah, this is the AW71. It's beefier transmission on the internals, but from the outside you can't tell the difference unless you look at the plate. That's the only thing that'll tell you that's different. I got a new filter and gasket for the filter up in there. You can see this transmission's been worked on before, so some of these pipes, believe it or not, were kind of loose, so I had to tap them back up into place. But everything's good now. Hopefully whoever worked on it before me didn't mess anything up. I know I didn't do anything. All I'm doing is changing the filter and gasket. So we're gonna pop this back up in there. Hopefully everything's all right with it. If I get it on the road and the car's not shifting right and there's something wrong, I have another transmission in my other 740 that's in really good shape. I drove that car for a few hundred miles, and the transmission felt great actually in that thing. So if there is an issue, I can always swap out transmissions. It's just gonna suck having to do a double transmission swap pretty much. So let me get back to work, and I'll get back to you soon. All right, everyone, got the transmission pan back in. Have you take a look here. It's nice and clean. Bolts are, pan bolts are torqued down. Got the drain plug torqued down. Got the drain tube, or the fill tube, and the dipstick tube back in. Everything looks good. Still a little dirty underneath here, but I'll clean it up a little bit. I'm not gonna go too crazy, as long as it's not like completely caked. I'll get all this off the oil pan and stuff, but yeah. Transmission's in. I got a new drive shaft bearing in as well. Center differential bearing, center support bearing, and bushing that goes right there. It's a two-piece drive shaft in these cars. So I replaced that. Everything looks good. So I think it's gonna do it for this video, everyone. The next video, I'm gonna go up top, and we're gonna start working on the engine. You have one fuel leak on a fuel line that I actually fixed. I don't know what's going on, so I got one fuel leak that I do need to attend to. That shouldn't take me but 15-20 minutes to diagnose and see what's going on and fix it. If there's something I need to get, I got another 740 outside. I can just go out there and go get the part I need. So that's gonna do it for this video, everyone. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.